It's red now. Act like I'm doing a real countdown.
Nickel.
The bitch is acting an ass. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Hopefully it's working. I'm not really sure. I think it's working. I think I've seen it move. Yes, it's working. Yes, on one of those things, it's working there. Let me see if it's working on the other one, and then we should be ready to go here. I think there it is. Sounds nice. Sounds clear. Hello, everyone in the chat room. Everyone is out there. Make sure you click the like. Don't treat us like your side bitch. We want to be the main place where you go. Mr. Wright is out there. Mr. Wright, where's Mrs. Wright? She's now going around saying that Brother Polite is a scam artist. Shit goes left.
Wow.
Shit goes left. Like, that's why I don't trust these women. Now, again, she may have seen that he was doing some scam artistry. It's possible. So I ask you the question then. What the hell is this? Hold on, I hear something upstairs. Oh, it's playing it's playing the show. All right then. But I wanted to ask you, when it comes to a situation like this, with a woman doing all the stuff she's doing, what kind of advice would you give to guys thinking of dating women who have an internet presence?
Wow. I would say, I mean, if you're dating somebody that's in social media like that and they out there, I think you gotta expect for things to go bad and will be prepared, I would say, at least, for if things do go bad. I don't know how long they've been together, but it seemed like to me like he kind of really didn't like know her or know the person she really was, because it seemed like she just like overnight just, up and flipped the script and was gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I mean, because I even saw the polygyny show that he did, and he was talking about, how things were with him and his wives. And she seemed like she was just different. She kind of like stood out amongst the other ones. So that could have been good or a bad thing, and it turned out to be a bad thing, So I think that she was just doing her thing, man, and she was trying to get to the grass possible, and wound up on the train.
Why do you think so many women do stuff like this? Like, they get close to a man, then they talk shit about that man. And it's like, again, it could be possible that she got in close with him, realized, he was doing some funny shit. And that might be why she left. And she probably was like, I'm not going to say nothing. And then maybe she heard him on my show or whatnot. Maybe they've been slick dissing each other to the point of where it got to public. But when you're dealing with someone with a public persona, doesn't that make it kind of difficult? Because number one, they're always getting hit on by people. Number two, if you met them publicly like that, and you got to them, wouldn't it lead to insecurity? Like, if you was in her DM and that's how you got her, wouldn't it lead to insecurity if that's her job to be on there all day?
Absolutely. I would definitely think that. I mean, and I guess it's kind of like you have to understand where that person's coming from. And I think you all need to come together and find out, what is our end game? What are we doing? Are we just hanging and just seeing how things go? Or are we just going to really dig in and commit? It's like, you really need to get those kind of things squared away early on in the relationship. You don't have to do it on the first date or nothing like that. But I think you need to get an understanding and see what that other person wants, and whatever they tell you, because most of the time, especially when you're talking about somebody who has some type of celebrity about themselves, people will tell you anything that you want to hear just to make it sound good. But I think that, you can hear what they're saying and then you watch what they do, because I'm a big believer in that. Always watch what somebody does as opposed to what they're telling you. You can hear it and listen to it, but you got to watch what they do. And I'm pretty sure that initial time that he introduced her to Music Soul Child, I'm pretty sure she was a totally different chick. I'm pretty sure that she showed him that she was definitely interested in him to get to where she got. So it's like, and if that's what y'all are on and that's what y'all doing, y'all don't have no real commitment, that's totally fine. That's all the way cool. But don't give off the persona and don't make it seem like you are this person that's really into this whole polygyny thing, and you with Brother Polite and that's your man and y'all together and he's your king and all that kind of stuff, and you doing this thing and you got this teamwork going, but then all of a sudden, the minute something another opportunity comes along, you gone, because that makes you look bad. And I don't know all the details of it, and it's always two sides to every story. But being out in the limelight like that, you have to take the good with the bad, and this looks bad, plain and simple.
Like, I think it would be difficult to date someone who's constantly in front of the camera like that. And especially with black women, because black women like telling what they're going through. Women like telling what they're going through. And they will start to believe that those people are their family, friends, or whatever. Like they know those people. So they will start to act like that. And anything that happens, they have to make sure that you look like the bad guy. It's just like me.
Oh, yeah.
If I tell a story, I'm not going to get on my show and tell the story about, well, I actually might because I'm stupid. But a normal person, I had to take that back. Wait a minute. You would say some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, well, I might because I'm stupid. I'm going to do it.
I forgot who I was talking about. I'm talking about me. But if you look at it, the normal person is going to get in front of the world and say that everybody's bullshitting them. Everybody's bad. Everybody's done me wrong. Everybody uses me. So if you have someone that has a social media presence, if they've been doing that before they met you, wouldn't it be weird to think that they won't do that? I think it's the equivalent of dating a porn star. She gets fucked for a living. Why would you then turn around and you catch her with a dude like talking about she cheating? Nigga, she fucked for a living.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I know you can set rules for anything. Because my homeboy him and his wife had a rule where all he had to do, he could fuck anybody. He just had to tell her. Her only rule was you can't fuck somebody and not tell me.
Wow.
And this nigga still fucked that up.
Oh, man.
He went on and had a whole full-on relationship.
How you messed that up? And what could you do to mess that up?
When I talked to him, he said what it was when she told him he could fuck people, it took the excitement of fucking away.
Man, that nigga's
excitement
crazy.
Of cheating. I don't need no excitement. If I wanted a little excitement, I snap into a Slim Jim.
Exactly. She giving you basically a green light, like just saying, hey, I don't care what you do. You just tell me who it is just so I know.
Right.
And he was like, that he just couldn't do that.
He couldn't, and it was a sad thing. What do you think brings that out? And we're about to get into this topic. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the guru right there. My man Brian in the building, the relationship rehab, and the whore. You already know me. So there we go. This is episode 4 of the guru and the whore. And what we're talking about today is your relationship one-sided? Are you unequally yoked? So I'll ask that part of the question again. Like, why do you think that people like my friend exist? To where they will have everything and still fuck it up. Because we know rich people who fuck up everything they have, right? We know people like this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if he messed that up, then I don't think that it was about that. I think it may have been, I believe this too. Some people, when it comes to infidelity, some people are turned on just by the excitement, sneaking around, the not knowing if you're going to get caught or when you're going to get caught. That can be addictive to where that's what the whole act is about. It's about trying to go and be with somebody else secretly and have this secret relationship with somebody and not get caught at the end of the day for whatever reason. Because at the end, if he had a green light like that and that was the only request that was made of him, then it wasn't about him just sleeping with other women. It was about him actually cheating. Yep. And having that secret life. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that could have been about. Because there's no way a dude gonna just mess that up and just be like, hey, all I gotta do is tell you, yeah, I'm going to see Kim. And she's like, okay, on the text message, and you gone and you come back and it's all good. Man, you tripping.
Well, see, I'm the king of cheating. Like I that's what I do.
You can't.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. I get in a relationship just to cheat. Like I've done that. I can't cheat on these bitches unless I make one of my girl. My girl.
He said, I get in it just to cheat.
Right.
Like, yes, I want to deal with you so that I can cheat. Yeah.
I'm the House of Pain of dating. Fuck around. fuck up, and fuck down. Fuck, everybody. Fuck. That's all I do.
Oh,
ain't nobody fucking around. That nigga fucking around.
Man, I tell you. So why do you think you like that then, man? What is it about it?
Because I ain't shit. You ever notice that you ain't shit? So you embrace it? You're like, well, I ain't shit. Like, I knew I couldn't be the hero in the play. I didn't have the hero's jawline. I don't have the hero's eyes. I don't look like the hero, but I do look like the shady villain. I look like that guy. Like when I walk into a casting director and I'll go for Star-Lord. I'm trying to be Star-Lord, the main guy. But no, you can't be him. But
you can be Dick Dastardly.
Right. You can be that nigga. That we need a rapist in the movie.
Oh man. So I mean, so if that's what you just take on that persona, you've embraced that. You've embraced being that cheating whore. What is it? You can meet the perfect woman today. You can fall in love and everything, but you're telling me that you know in your heart of hearts that you're gonna fuck it up because you are going to cheat.
Yes. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I am the motherfucker when you ask the question, what else could go wrong? I show up. Soon as they ask the question, what else could go wrong? You rang.
Wow. Is that something that you
disaster? I am Slep Rock. What's his name? Slep Rock. Walk around with a dark cloud over him. That's me.
That's you.
Instead of giving me a dark cloud, God gave me a dark face.
Oh man. So do you think that that's anything? Is there anything in you that wants to or think you could possibly get out of that? Could you ever come out of that space that you're in?
I would like to.
Or do you want to?
Yes, I actually would like to. I would like to not be shit anymore, but it's hard for feces to change its ways. The only time, the only thing you can do is just turn it into some kind of mulch and fertilize, I guess. So that's how I ended up being where I am now. I'm like, well, I know I ain't shit. I'm a bunch of feces, but maybe I can fertilize something
nice beautiful, man. Yeah.
See?
There you go.
I make that.
Lay your ass down on some seed and make some flowers.
Right. So what I'm trying to do is not bring anybody else down with me. So I try to be as honest as possible about the bullshit that I do. And that's why I wanted to do a show like this, because a lot of us find ourselves in positions where we are unequally yoked in relationships. Now, do me a favor and do the audience a favor. You and I are Southern, or you and I are Black, and you have some Southern roots. So here, do me a favor. Explain to them what we mean when we say unequally yoked. It's more like a Bible term.
Okay, yeah. From my own, I guess, personal definition and research that I've done, equally yoked basically means like being able to share the burden or equally share the burden of whatever it is that you're doing. So like in a relationship, are you both able to share that burden of being in a relationship? So taking the good with the bad so that you all can equally, support each other, move through, and just being able to handle that relationship together? Or is it like unequally yoked, being like where it's more so one-sided on this person's behalf or the other person?
Right. Okay. Now tell me, how do people usually find themselves in a relationship? Because everybody says it. Don't find yourself unequally yoked, blah, 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 blah. So how do people find themselves in something that we already know going into it we shouldn't do? Everybody tells the other people, just don't find yourself with someone that doesn't bring to the table what you bring to the table. How do we still do it?
I think we tend to fall in love with, or we get addicted to that initial part of the relationship where everything is new, everything is wonderful. We have that whole thing of just being able to be in that person's presence, and it's just the best thing in the world. When you have that infatuation with that person, when you have that honeymoon period in your relationship, I believe that allows you to overlook a lot of things that may be present in the relationship. And once that part wears off, then I believe the reality sets in and you all become real to each other, where you can, when you get to the point to where you're comfortable with each other, where you may be farting in front of each other, whatever the case may be, when you get to that reality point in that relationship where you can truly, see each other for who you are, then what you really bring to the table comes to light, even though it was always there, but it truly comes to light at that point.
Now, when I think about myself and me being unequally yoked, when people say, let's address it in two facets. Let's address the first one, the false sense of who you are. A lot of people will go around and tell somebody they're unequally yoked, but they're the ones who are dragging the relationship down. But because we are too hard-headed and stubborn, we will always blame it on someone else. How do we avoid that part of it?
I guess it's that's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult because I believe that you have to be able to see through that good stuff and actually see. It's hard to see a person for who they are when you're so into them. When you really like a person, it's really hard to see their faults. And it's not until you get really familiar with that person and just really comfortable with that person where you can actually see those things in each other. So it's real difficult to do that. And I think that the only way that you can actually get through that is you really have to vet that other person out by constantly asking questions and seeing what this person is and what they want to do, what they want to be, and just finding out the type of person that they are and getting to truly know who that person really is. I think that is like the biggest challenge in just relationships, period. The success rate and all that stuff, I think, is really dependent on how well do you actually get to know each other before you truly commit to each other in a relationship.
Okay. So let's talk about the other part of that. Me. An individual like me, I think that many people in my situation or like me, and I don't know if anybody's out there, we may open up the lines here in a little while and let them call in and talk about it. But I think a lot of times I find myself in relationships where I'm unequally yoked, or, you know, you're just not looking for the same thing. Mm-hmm. Is because when you don't have high enough self-esteem, and this is just me talking for me, nobody else has to say that this is them. It's just me being as open as I possibly can. When your self-esteem is low, sometimes, yeah, you know that this motherfucker that's coming into this relationship is not who you should be with. You know it. But you also feel like you probably can't get the people you want by being honest up front. So you lie to get in the relationship, then you try to manipulate the relationship from the inside. You know, like a Manchurian candidate. like the real nigga gonna show up soon as somebody snap their fingers and shit. The real nigga show up. Yep. He start whooping ass out nowhere. Like, who is this nigga?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times, especially for us in our community, we get into a thing where we get so comfortable with the devil that we know, even though we know it's bad for us, but we know it. So we able to function inside of that dysfunction. And you get a certain sense of, like you said, manipulation. And also too, when you have certain tools and certain resources at your disposal, you also have a leg up in the situation to where you have a little more power. Mm-hmm. So it's just like you being a person with some status of wealth, some type of celebrity that you have about yourself, and then you with a person who doesn't have any of that. They a straight hood rat. Even though you came from that, you know what that is, but now you also know that you have a certain level of power or control over them as well, mm-hmm. which makes it easier for you to deal with that person because you know what makes them tick. You know what makes them, do what you need to do. You can manipulate them just by giving them these few things here to get what it is that you want out of the relationship when you truly not going to be fulfilled, because the self-esteem part of and the challenge of dealing with somebody that's actually on or maybe even above your level, it can be quite intimidating.
Is that a feeling that happens a lot? And with my man Brian, the Relationship Rehab, make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Whoever runs his channel is going to put the link in the description box, and you just click on the channel when it shows up in the but I want to know, how often do you think, if you had to give a guesstimate, how often do you think people are lied to before they realize that they're unequally yoked? And how often do you think people do what I do, which is just walk into it knowing, just hoping to get what you want, but afraid to ask what you want from the beginning?
I think it's more so that people kind of like lie or give a false image of who they are. I think they do that more than than the other half, because I believe that we all want to be wanted. We all want to be liked. We all want to be loved. And whatever it is that we crave in a relationship, we tend to tailor ourselves around that so that we can get that from that other person. And we give a false image of ourselves to a degree so that that person will like us, because we don't believe that if we show that person who we really are, that they will want us or that they will reject us. And we will say, well, I'm going to protect myself and try to get something that I can, the little bit that I can get from this person, by presenting this false idea or this false image of who I am to a degree. Mm-hmm. And then I'll slowly peel back the layers and show them who I really am, and hope that they'll like me enough to deal with my shit.
How do we get past that? Because let me just be honest. That's one of the hardest things for me, is to be open with people, because either I think they won't like it, who I am, or I think they will use it against me. So I basically go into most relationships being very secretive or outright just lying.
You have to put yourself in a place where, and you shouldn't just lay your cards out. You shouldn't just do that. You got to hold some cards back, especially in the beginning. You have to be smart with, the things that you say and the things that you show a person. If you are vetting that person out from the beginning, depending on what it is, if you're looking for like a really, deep commitment to where you want to build a life with somebody, that's going to be a longer vetting process. So if you spend that time and energy trying to vet that person out to see what type of person that they really are, and you get comfortable with that person, then you can start to, let that person know who you really are, and not dump it all out at once, but begin to test them and actually show them things and say, what, I'm going to tell this person this and see what they do with it. I may let this person see this part of my life and see how they treat it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you with somebody over time, the real person's going to come out sooner or later anyway. They're going to come. As long as y'all spending time together, that real person's going to come out. So it's like you just want to be smart with how you present yourself and who you really are to that person, because you don't want to just lay all your cards out on the table to anybody, because they will use it against you. They will even use it to manipulate you at the end of the day, because they know, oh, I know this person want this, or I know this person want that, so I'm gonna dangle this carrot, or I'm gonna hold this over them so that I can get what I want. That's just the nature of a lot of people. So you have to be able to say, well, this person that I'm dealing with, I have a list of prerequisites. This person can at least meet this, then we can move forward to that second part of the interview. We can begin to do things together, spend time together, and then we can have deeper conversations. If that person can handle that kind of stuff, now they can move into that final interview stage, or that third interview, where we can actually begin to get into who we really are. Because if they made it past the first and the second interview, that third one, they're going to be just as forthcoming as you are. And you guys are actually having a good exchange of knowing who you are on a more intimate level. So once you get to that part, now you can make a really good educated decision and saying, well, I believe that I can start to begin to reveal, really key aspects of my life to this person, because this person is proving themselves in these other three interviews.
That's where the unequally yoked comes in. I have a situation to where, like me, the reason why no matter how many times I fuck women on video, I'm not putting it out, because I have a name that I wouldn't want to put it out, and it would benefit them more to be fucking me than the vice versa, because I'm not fucking a woman that's worth something. Unequally yoked. Let somebody come in your house. If you have millions of dollars of equipment and they live in a house where they just got one or two things, you're unequally yoked when you let them in your house versus as you go in their house. It's like someone from my neighborhood walking in a Chicago project. Well, they're not going to go in there and steal something. But if you switch the situations, because the other person is without, there's a higher chance that they will take something from you. Women run into the same issue. Say if you're a woman and you're dating a guy and you decide, let him pull the camera out and show that he was fucking you. Here's the thing. Who are you? What do you have to lose? Who is he? What do he have to lose? If you let that guy who work at McDonald's and the best thing he ever had in his life was you, you don't let that guy record you having sex, because if you do something to take yourself away from him, which was the best thing in his life, he's going to try to do something to hurt you. And what people do to hurt you
Yep.
is they seek your weakness. They seek something that's going to bother you. And it's so-called people who believe they love you, who will choke you and hold your neck until you are lifeless because you've hurt their feelings. Most murders, 92%, if I'm not mistaken, occur of people who know each other, not strangers. So it's people who know each other. And what happens is in these situations, the person who's the weaker vessel will use what they know about the stronger vessel to hurt them. So let's talk about weak to strong in the unbalanced relationship. What have you seen, and what would you like to tell people who are in that situation where they are the stronger one and they're dealing with the weaker one? How do you proceed in that relationship?
I think you need to be able to, when you are finding out who a person is and what that person is really about, you need to find out how their past relationships went, the good, the bad, and the ugly, how they ended, and those type of things, because that will tell you a lot about where a person is emotionally, and it'll tell you how they actually deal with the relationship during and after it's over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you talk to that person, say, well, how did the last relationship you were in? How did it go? Why aren't you all still together? What they tell you from that, if they're the type of person where they say, well, it was all him. He was this and he did me wrong and he did this, and he did that. And he broke my heart and he just did me in, but I'm still going to be okay. You know, I'm an independent bad bitch and can't nobody hold me down. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to keep moving. That lets you know that that person is in a place where they can't hold themselves accountable. They can't be responsible for their action, because it takes two to function in a relationship. So yeah, somebody may do something more than what you did, but you still have to own your part. So now you already know that this person has a problem or struggling with being accountable and being responsible in relationships. So that means that no matter what happens in this next relationship, you pretty much can judge the fact to say, well, if something does go bad, this person's gonna blame me. I'm gonna be the bad guy. I'm gonna be the fall guy, because this person can't accept responsibility for their actions and be accountable for their actions. So that's like a warning sign that you could see. And when you're talking about the whole unequally yoked, if a person is not on your status, is not on your level, and can't bring the things that you have to the table or complement those things that you bring to the table, then it's going to be a mismatch, and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage in the door. Because at the end of the day, if I can't be with somebody who can either complement what it is that I'm doing or bring to the table and match what it is that I'm doing, then it's going to be a problem, because that person is not going to be able to live up to the expectations that I'm going to eventually have on this person. Because once that good time is gone and it's about the real everyday, day-to-day living, you have to complement each other. It's like being in a business together. You have to be able to say, well, this person is my business partner. This person wants to succeed just as much as I want this business to succeed. And that's how we're working together to build what it is that we're building.
So when people say equally yoked, then, which is a thing, there's nothing wrong with having the saying. And guys, we're going to open the lines up, since you guys say we open the lines up. We'll open it up in 15 minutes with a second show. I'm going to making it now. So we'll do a second show of just phone calls. Or I can just do one and then split it. Now we'll do two. But I want to ask you, we typically think of equally yoked, but are men and women supposed to be equally yoked? Because on the thought of it is, if I have money, you have money. If I have status, you have status. Mm-hmm. Is that what unequally yoked means? That you have money, they don't. You have status, they don't. Is that what it means?
No, I do not believe that. I believe that you have to be, when we're talking equally yoked, or when I say complimenting, each other in a relationship, I mean, being able to bring things that actually help each other become better. So when you think about, I always talk about the yin and yang symbol. That is like a perfect description of a relationship. It's like you got two things that are coming together to make something, to make a circle. And it's like, even though they may, be at different points, or they may have different points of engagement, you still have to be able to brings something to the table that the other one may not be as good at, or it complements what they're doing, so that they can actually, so you can actually build what it is that you're trying to build, which is that perfect circle. So you're talking about a person that has money versus a person that doesn't have money. All right. Well, does this person that doesn't have money, are they able to take care of the things that the person who does have money can't? So it's like, you take yourself, for instance. Do you need a woman that makes just as much money as you? Not necessarily, but you do need a woman that can come in and do things that you don't have time to do. When you're talking about cooking, cleaning, laundry, taking care of making sure the bills are paid, all those type of things, to have somebody like that in your life that could do those type of things, that would be a great compliment to you, and it would take a lot off of you so that you can put that energy towards more things like building the empire that you're building.
So instead of saying unequally yoked, should we start saying equally complimented?
Absolutely. Get somebody that compliments you and your business. Get somebody that does that. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, isn't that one of the hardest parts about going back to what I was saying, which is you look for someone that compliments you, but you both are walking into it being guarded and lying.
Yeah.
So how do you even know they compliment you? I remember talking to a girl, and literally she'd go from saying she doesn't want to have kids for 5 years. Then when I would tell her, well, I'm 40, and I would like, at the time, I said, well, I'm 40. I would like to kind of have them now. When we would stop talking, she'd come back to me and was like, okay, I'm ready. Then we get back together. She'd be like, well, can you at least wait 2.5? Like, that was how we were talking. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that with people, they're actually willing to say what they think you want up front, but it isn't what they want. They're again trying to play not this time a cheering candidate. Now they're trying to be a Trojan horse.
Right. Yeah. I think that the problem that we have with that is because we have such a lack of parenting in our society that our men and our women don't know how to play complementing positions in each other's lives. We are taught this whole independent individual, you do whatever you want to do, and somebody else has to get onto your program or get on your agenda in order for you to be with them. But I think that kind of, when you do that, it neglects certain parts of your life, and it takes away certain things from your life, and you wind up sacrificing the things that you would want in your ultimate big picture to the point to where you can't have them. So it's like when you are, if I'm the type of person where I'm going to have this great business, and it's a business that my father has passed down to me, and I'm going to pass down to my children one day, and the things that I'm doing in my life, I want a wife that's going to complement that. If the woman that I'm dating has the same exact thing, she has a business that her father has passed down to her, she's the only child, and she has this business that's going to rest on her back, and she has to do all of these things to keep his business up and going. Us coming together can be a big problem, because you have two people that are not in the same business, but they're doing the same thing. They're trying to build empires, but they're not going to be able to build them together because they both got dreams for what they want their empires to be. So when you can't complement each other in that aspect, then why would you try to be together and build something? Because what your goals are for your business and what the goals are for my business are going to be totally different. Whereas if you have somebody who may not have that particular type of dream, and they want the dream of being a wife and a mother and a housewife and a helpmeet, and they want to be that type of woman, then that would be perfect with what I'm trying to do. Because I can build my family, I can have my wonderful wife, and I can go after my business, because my wife is going to play a different position in our lives, as opposed to us jockeying for the same position, trying to be the so-called power couple. You can be that power. You can be a team, and you can be a powerful team by everybody playing their position.
When you talk about this, which is a strange dynamic, because I think this is that the ability to do what you're talking about is something that you can teach, and hopefully you will do more of that on your channel, talking about this specific thing, because I think a lot of people want to know this. But isn't it something that if you didn't get it as a kid or through your family passing it to you, it's very difficult for me, a 41-year-old man now, to do that, because I'm looking at it and saying, shit, I'm running out of time. I'm standing in the line. I see St. Peter, the motherfucker right there. No, at first, when I started, I was around the building and
you got around that corner. Now you can actually see the gate.
Nigga. God, dog. Numbers about to come up. So I know I have limited time, and we all technically have limited time, but I know even if on the best of circumstances, my time is limited. So because my time is limited, I can't be retaught, or can I be retaught to understand the wanting the complimentary person, because I'm in the middle age right now. I have enough money where I can fuck young chicks. I like fucking young chicks. They're fun. But what do you have in common with them? Are they looking to build what you're building, or they're just enjoying the fact that you can take them places that the niggas their age can't? I know it's more of the second than the first.
Right.
Older women, they cook, they clean, but they already come with somebody else's baggage, typically. When my age come with everybody, they come with a fucking Samsonite store full of luggage. So, and I don't want that. I don't want your motherfucking son trying to challenge me to a duel.
Your son talking about, I'm from Chicago, nigga.
Yeah. I wake up in the morning, this nigga got a white glove. He done took it off and slapped me in the face. Oh, I challenge you to a duel. Like, I don't need that. So
right.
I'm in a weird spot. Being that I'm in a weird spot, is it difficult for me to learn the ability to say, be with someone that you can be a good team with? Like, because are they, if I did an older woman, is she in position where she's having to lie too? Because she knows St. Peter is about to call her fucking name too. It ain't like I'm the only one that see this nigga up there taking numbers.
Right.
I see him right there.
I think that what you have to do is you have to assess the situation for what it is, you know, that you and what your psyche can handle. So if you can handle being with an older woman who has baggage, right, who has that older son or that younger daughter, whatever the case may be, if you can handle blending families from that perspective, then I think you can do that. But like you said, if you think you know in your heart of hearts that you can't, then it's going to be a disaster. It's not going to work. So on the younger side of things, if you can get a young woman who may have, you know, some different values and may have some more old school or traditional values, who is willing to, you know, be that housewife, that mother, and give you a kid or whatever, and be able to take care of you, and you can, you know, deal with those things of her not knowing how to cook as good as that 35 or 40-year-old woman would, then you can deal with that one. So it's like you have to, you know, the good and the bad. You just pretty much identified that. It's about, what do you think that you would be most compatible with? Do you think that I could say, you know what, I could probably make it work because I want to be able to talk to somebody and be able to identify with them, and they identify with me. They know 80s music just like I do. I can enjoy that. So I'll be willing to deal with her son, and I'm going to duel that nigga first outside and win before I let him come slap me with that damn white glove. So if you can do that, then you can kind of head those things off at the pass, and you can say, well, I know what it's going to take to deal with this person and their baggage, as opposed to a younger person who you're going to have to do a lot of coaching and training with, if you will, to get them to where you are able to live with them too.
And see, here's my fear of younger women. My fear of younger women is you waste all your time training them and shit, and then they go somewhere else.
Well, that's true, but a lot of that depends on culture. A lot of that depends on culture and how they were raised. Because if you find you somebody who is young, who was raised by their mother and father, and they're from a good family as far as like their traditions and things like that, that can work. A lot of times that may not wind up being a particular race that you may want. They may be a foreign chick. It may be somebody, you know, from a different type of background, because it's not as prevalent in the Black community as it is in other communities and other races.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. When you look at somebody like me, and if you had to give a diagnosis of me and my situation, because I read somebody in there said I need somebody in my early 30s. If you had to draw the the type of individual that I would probably need from the limited amount of things that you know about me, what type of person you think that would be? Other than a dumbass bitch. Go ahead. We've established that the bitch got to be pretty just down on her luck.
I would say she would have to be, number one, she's going to have to, I would say as far as age would go, she would have to be somebody in her mid-30s, because she's going to have to be able to identify with a lot of things that you identify with, you know, just as far as the era that you grew up in, music and things like that, movies and things like that. She's going to have to be able to identify with that kind of stuff. So I would say mid-30s at the least. I would also say she would have to have some type of job that's worth something. She has to do something that's respectable, that she doesn't have to maybe be making six figures or anything like that, but she does have to have a decent job where she can sustain, you know, herself and the lifestyle that she's living now. She would have to do that, because you don't want somebody that's going to take from you. You want somebody that you can just give stuff to, and they can do the same for you. So I would say that.
Because the funny part is, I can't find too many women who make six figures, but I do meet a lot of women who fucking six niggas. Like, I know that.
But that's what you looking for. That's what you looking for.
That ain't what I'm looking for, man. I just keep finding hoes. And then when they ain't hoes, they boring. What do you do?
You have to, so it's like well, here's my belief. I believe that you know what you want, but I don't think that you're ready to commit to do what it takes to get what you want. I think that the things that you are doing with women right now, I think it's things that you're doing because they're easy. I think what you're focused on as far as your career, I think your message that you're focused on, I think that takes a lot from you. So I don't think that you want to truly invest your time, your emotions, and your resources into somebody as of yet, because I think you're just not ready to do that. Because the person that does step up to that plate and that's going to be there, they're going to have to put up with a lot of shit. And you know that. And I don't know if that person, whoever she may be, knows that, but she's going to have to put up with a lot of shit that she's going to have to deal with because of who you are. And then your baggage, when you begin to unpack that, she's going to have the mental fortitude to be able to process and accept that and still be able to support you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be a lot for her to handle. You know, to understand where you've been, to understand your past and understand where you're going, she's going to have to shoulder that and take that on and be like, you know what? Okay, I see what I got here. And now I'm going to have to position myself to where I can support him and take care of him so that he can do what he needs to do. So he can continue on with what he's doing so that I can make him better. Because you can't have somebody who's just going to come and just say, okay, I'm here and I ain't going to be no drain, but I'm not a fountain either. He's going to have to be somebody that can come and support you and fill in those gaps, but she's also going to have to challenge you to make you better. Because I believe that's ultimately what you want to do. And you won't respect somebody who can't do that for you. They don't necessarily need to challenge you, but they need to be good enough to you, and they need to be good enough in your life to where they make you want to be a better you.
All right, so here we're going to answer the phone lines and talk to you guys about being unequally yoked. I want to ask you a personal question. Have you been in a relationship before you got married and you look back and realize that part of the problem was you guys were not equally yoked? And somebody gave the description of it being yoked, share burden. But as you stated, that burden could be shared several different ways. It doesn't have to be just shared of we split the bills down the middle. I cut half the grass and bitch, I'm finished. Your half is out there. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't have it's not saying like everything's 50-50.
He said that grass, your half of that grass out there. Like it's gonna rain, so you better hurry up.
Yeah, nigga done specifically cut half the fucking grass. Your turn, bitch. Like that's how we do shit. This nigga empty. It's 2 bags of garbage. This nigga take one out to the street.
Hey, don't forget to take your trash out tonight.
You know what I'm saying?
Garbage come tomorrow.
That nigga fix one drain. The one.
Yep.
I mean, it would be an equal relationship. This nigga take out 3 grocery bags and leave you 3, bitch, your 3 in the car. I think I'm gonna try that with a bitch. Just
just see if she gonna do it on pod. Like, look, you need to do your half.
Be selfish as fuck. She sucked my dick for 5 minutes and quit. Be like, all right, 5 minutes of pussy eating. Put it on the clock, nigga. Your 5 minutes be up right before you get ready to come, and she quit. Well, what you doing, bitch?
As soon as you come, you hear a stopwatch go off. You know okay, not your turn.
It's
you
your
do
turn,
me.
nigga. Like it.
Oh man.
But go ahead. It just when you think about something like this, have you ever found yourself in that position?
Yes, I believe that. I would say in my first marriage, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was I was so into my ex-wife, and I really loved the person that she was, and I was so giving and so wanting it to work that I didn't realize that she had so much going on emotionally and just with who the person that she was and her issues that she really didn't have enough left for me to get that reciprocity, for her to be able to reciprocate what I was giving to her. Because at the end of the day, I think that more so I'm the type of person where I do need emotional support. I don't need it necessarily all the time, but when I need it, I need it. And I believe that she was so into where she was and what she was going through, and it was really about her most of the time, to where when it came time for me to need something and to say, hey, I need you to, to hold me down emotionally in this time of my life or whatever the case may be, she wasn't emotionally available to where she could do that because she was still focused on her and what she was dealing with and what she was going through. And I think that was something that I saw in her early on, but I didn't really know how to identify. I made the mistake of believing that she would get better when she showed me time and time again before we got married that she wasn't. So
this goes back then to what we were talking about earlier, which is that honestly, we don't see people for what they are. We see them for what we want them to be, man.
Yep. The idea of her and the idea that I had of her sold me. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I was all in, and I didn't realize that, because I thought that, the things that she struggled with and the issues that she had, I felt that I was strong enough to help her with that. However, I didn't consider myself and consider my needs to the point to where I wonder if she can support me and hold me down in that situation, or when I do need her, to where she's capable of doing that. And she wasn't. And that brought with me, it brought resentment, because I got tired of being the giver, the supporter, the ego stroker, the builder, and I'm constantly building you up, but I'm steady getting weaker by giving you all of my energy and all of my time, and I don't have anybody to do the same for me.
Who do you think does that more? Women or men walk into a relationship denying themselves just to be in that relationship?
I think we both do it equally the same. I think we have different things. So men, I think we need to be held down emotionally when the doors are closed and we in that bedroom, and we need that woman, we need our wives or that significant other to tell us, hey, I see what you're doing. I see that you are doing such a great job, even though you ain't where you're supposed to be. I'm believing in you and I'm supporting you to the point where I know you're going to make it. You're going to be somebody. And once they tell us that and they give us that mental, they got to turn right back around and take them panties off and drop it like it's hot and put it on us and give us that physical thing, because that's how we express love. Give us that to make us feel good, so we can get that mental support. And then we also turn right back around and we see that she desires us more than any other thing on this planet. That builds our ego, that strokes us, and that gets us to the point where I can go out there another day or another 10 days and I can battle and do whatever it is I need to do and hustle and grind and don't give up because of that. Women, on the other hand, they need the same type of positive reinforcement. They need that consistent saying, hey, baby, you still look good. You still do it for me. They need that reassurance, that confirmation on a whatever, not daily basis, but they need that type of support for them. And then they need the resources. Women need those resources to be in place. They need that, to know that they're safe, to know that they have, shelter, that the lights ain't gonna get cut off, and it's food in the refrigerator. They need those type of things to show that that man that is providing for them, that those provisions are there and in place. When they have that, they are more secure and they feel more confident in who they are and what they're doing. And then if they train right, they can support you in that same aspect. They can give you what you need because you're giving them what they need.
Now, here's where I think there's a bit of a problem. I think that men do it more than women because we're trying to get the job, and the job is we'd like to fuck the woman. So because we like to fuck the woman, if we are quote unquote unequally yoked, meaning you smarter than this chick and this chick is dumb as a fucking rock, but we'll tolerate it because we like to fuck her. We'll tolerate her not being intelligent, her not being sweet. We'll tolerate watching her be an asshole to people, and we know we don't like that attitude. We'll tolerate a lot of shit because our goal is minuscule and short term, which is I just kind of want to fuck this woman because I can't really know if I like this woman until I've actually fucked this woman. That's the thought of a man, because the longer I go without fucking you, the more my brain is clouded with I'd like to fuck you. So I think a man does more of accepting bullshit because he just wants to be with a woman than a woman, because a woman will tell you when she meets you, that house need to be clean. Why do you talk like that? You should dress like this. She will actually push you towards things she'd like for you to do in a relationship environment. But guys, we just sit back and we're like, I just want to fuck you. So, I mean, I don't even really pay attention to what you say or what you do. And I think it costs us in the long term, because what will happen is we usually fall in love with the woman we've already been fucked. And then we have to deal with who she is. Women have an opportunity to actually get to know more about us and direct us to, because women will tell you, I want a man who loves the Lord. So the nigga will lie and be like, I love going to church. So she can get him into a church. Don't mean he'll stay, but she'll be able to get him there quicker than he can get her somewhere. A woman will know you want to fuck her. So her motto will be, you have to overcome my unwillingness to just give you pussy up front. So we're always overcoming her objections. Disagree.
I think that women do that when it comes to a man that has resources. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about a man that got money, a man that got that house, he got that car, and in a lot of cases he have the attention of other women. I think that a woman will sacrifice those things that she is and sacrifice who she is, and will let a dude treat her any old kind of way when he shows the possibility of those resources, because I think that a woman wants to lock in or latch on to those resources too. It's just like a NBA basketball player that is bouncing from town to town, city to city, half of the year, and he's bouncing around from different women, but yet and still these women who know this are still sleeping with that same dude in hopes of getting some type of long-term connection with him, like either a great session of sex or a baby. So I think you have that same trade-off when it comes to a man that has resources. Men, we go for more of the visual, that body, if them titties sitting right and the way that booty move when she got them pants on, yeah, we'll go in for that. Mm-hmm. But I think that a woman who sees that guy who has that status and has those resources, I think she will forego a lot of who she is and what she stands for just to get that experience or to get that opportunity to be with that dude too. So I think that and that's why I said it's kind of the same, because I think that they'll go for that, that dude that's being desired, that dude that got the rumor of having a big dick, or that dude that got them other kids. Well, he got all these other kids, he must be doing something right, and all these other women like him. So they might be willing to go in so they can say, well, yeah, I've been there, or I got him, or I got all the other girls wanting to be with him because I'm with him. They'll do that, and they'll sacrifice who they are, what they believe in. Their moral compass will be pushed to the side just so that they can say, hey, this my dude now.
I feel you. Now, when it comes to, and guys, we're about to open up the phone lines right now. I'm going to ask one more question. When it comes to women being equally yoked, what are unequally yoked? What are some examples of how a woman could be, because typically when I think of unequally yoked, I think of a dude getting fucked over. What are some ways that a woman can find herself, and we'll listen to some of the phone calls too, but what some ways that women find themselves unequally yoked?
I would say women that are in a position to where they may be the ones who have the majority of the resources. They may have the things going for them, like status, career, and those type of things. And they may be with somebody who is more the man that they choose to be with is not necessarily on their level, or is not able or in a position to where he can compliment her, but because he reminds her of what her daddy may used to have been, or what her daddy should have been, or what she was wanting from her daddy, then she may choose to be with that dude who may not really be good for her, but at the end of the day, can get in that space and get in her life to where she feels as though she can take care of him, and she can make him, and she can build him into something that he may not be, or turn him into somebody that he's not. I believe that illusion, or them believing that they can do that, I think that'll put them in a position to where she will be unequally yoked, because she think her biological clock is ticking and she got to find her a dude before she get 40. She may sacrifice a lot of who she is and what she's trying to do just to try to latch on to some dude. Just to say, just to get this man in my life, to say, well, he may not be what I wanted, but he all right. And then they'll sacrifice that, and then they'll wind up not being happy in the first place. And then, 2 kids later, and $40,000-$50,000 in debt. Now they realize, like, what was I thinking?
Isn't that what's technically making this so difficult? That we have situations to where the individuals involved are feeling pressure to get in a relationship. It's like feeling pressure to find a job. If you really need a paycheck, then you have this issue of, I really need this job. Once you have that issue of, I really need this job, you tend to make bad decisions. Isn't that what happens with most people who realize that, like me, I want to be in a relationship? Because I want to be in a relationship, I think this is probably the worst time for me to be looking for one, because I want to be in one, so I'll make bad decisions just to get in one. Like you said, the women with the clock. Isn't that typically where we all make bad decisions? When we want something so bad, we just start overlooking shit.
Absolutely. And I believe that because we don't prepare ourselves early in life for the later stages of life,
yep.
I think that is what sets us up for failure. And it puts us at such a disadvantage to where when we do reach that halftime point in our life, and we try to get into that second part of our life where what we do and what we have and what we're trying to build truly matters, that we're not prepared for, because we didn't do the groundwork and we didn't lay that foundation early on in our life. So it puts us behind the 8 ball, because we're at a point now to where we want this and we see what our goals are now. And because we didn't prepare for that when we were in our 20s, then we're suffering, and we're at such a disadvantage of trying to achieve that goal that we sacrifice a lot of things. We sacrifice who we are. We sacrifice our moral compass. We sacrifice those expectations that we have. We begin to just settle for whatever we can or what we think might be safe.
All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys the link to what we're going to do is we're going to spend an hour just answering you guys' phone calls. So we're going to stop it right here. And for all of you people, the link is in the description box. Go on over there. Come join us. We're going to be talking about, we're going to be answering people's phone calls and seeing what people got to say, and giving the examples of them being unequally yoked, and see if we can not only give you guys a way out, a way through, but maybe a way to avoid being in the position in the first place. So call in. The number is 213-943-3362. You can call in right now to talk to us live. Again, the new link for the new show is right there. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. There it is. You can't miss it. We're going to go over there, and we'll be right back in just a second, guys. I want to make sure I'm closing the right one. I closed this one.